All right. Hello, everybody. You gonna unmute? Fix my scarf. Lordy. You gonna unmute yourself?
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm trying to drive safely. Let me park. Let me
All
park
right.
safely. Oh,
Well, hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Got a couple people in the building. Hello, everybody. How are y'all? Mr. Ned Brooks said he's glad to make it this week. I'm glad you could join us too.
as well.
We have a
Yeah.
good topic to talk about tonight.
What
And
we
of
talking
course,
about
answer your
tonight?
questions. You said what we talking about tonight?
Hmm.
We're talking about, are you built for this? Are you built for this? And we're just gonna go over a couple of things that a lot of people might not expect when they get into the industry. Um, some things are funny. Some things that you might not expect when you decide to run a box truck or Amazon. So yeah. Oh, your favorite couple. Thank you.
Thank you. Now.
I gotta go to work tonight too, so I'm dressed in my work attire. I'm ready for war. And if anybody wants to come up, remember you can click the live button that we have in Patreon, and that should be the link for you to go ahead and join us if you want to join the conversation in person. Otherwise, you can go ahead and chat on YouTube, um, and we'll answer your questions that way.
Yeah.
You tired?
Who me?
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So, um, yeah. Anybody got questions? I like to start with the questions first. Anybody got questions? I would love to start there first. Otherwise, we could jump right in because, yeah. I Horseman said, yo, been out since 3 p.m. I'll be done by 7 a.m. Out here getting it.
Yeah.
Yes. Them long
That's how you
days.
do it.
Yep.
That's how you do it.
Yep. Just remember to get your rest. We want you to be safe out here, but not in the truck.
I mean, you can take a nap in the truck.
No,
I don't know
I
about
just,
going over the road and sleeping in the truck. I do got
that's
me
a,
a sleeping bag though. Get you a zero below sleeping bag. Definitely.
yeah. You should have that in your truck anyway, just to be safe in case, you break down. It's a little warmer now, but definitely in the winter months, you might break down and have to wait. You don't want to freeze out there.
Oh, you got a video from the box truck bros on it.
Hey, don't be spoiling. Spoiler alert.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
yeah. I got a couple of videos, but all right. If there's no questions, y'all can feel free to ask them throughout throughout the live. But I'm gonna go ahead because I don't have a whole lot of time tonight because like I said, I'm going to work too.
Yeah,
So
thank
um all right. Yeah, so when you're starting out trucking, definitely box trucking, there was a lot of fine print that wasn't really explained. And if you didn't have a CDL before and you're just getting into this industry without knowing anything, then there's some things that you might run into that you weren't expecting. So I'm gonna start first with this Amazon video. Just just start out kind of lighthearted. But yeah, let's take a look. Oh, hold up. Sorry. Oh, that's sorry. Still new at this. Let me remove that one.
Deliver these damn people pallets. They lift gate broke. I had to pull out a damn pulley ramp. Man, when I tell y'all this is not the way to go, but definitely I had to improvise. Man, this shit was crazy as hell. Do you hear me? But I got the job done, even though I had to pick up them damn boxes. But I still got the job done with a damn pulley ramp. So don't let nobody tell y'all it can't be done, cause it can, cause I did it. See, I told y'all I did it. Y'all thought I was gonna let that box fall with 376 packages. Child, y'all can find me on the floor somewhere, cause that is crazy. Ain't no way. And I'm only 5 feet. I'm doing this thing by myself. That's the crazy part. Moral of the story is don't let nobody tell you can't do nothing. Keep going. The sky's the limit. Go for what you know. And if you know nothing but hustle, go for the hustle. Hustle is always gonna win. Always. That package almost got the best of me, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, I'm telling you, them boxes is heavy. Okay, that's when you had to line up your weight with them packages. Man, look, I thank God for the way I'm built. You hear me? Lord. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get this pallet jack back on, because I'm not lifting that heavy thing back up no more. So we had to improvise, because definitely not doing all that extra work again. That thing was heavy. I mean, beyond.
All right. So, welcome to Amazon Relay. If you have not had a pallet tip over on you, yeah, you haven't lived life yet. But looking at that video, for those of you who have never run Amazon, you just never know what you might pull up to. In her video, she was saying that the lift gate, I mean not the lift gate, the ramp, whatever, what is it called? The lift was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had to use her ramp to pull everything off.
Well,
Now, there's a bunch of
she don't
stuff
have a
that's
lift. She don't
wrong.
have a lift gate.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff that was wrong with that
Okay.
video. A whole lot that was wrong with that video.
What you
But
saw was wrong with the video, baby? What you saw that was wrong with it?
well, the main thing is, which I think somebody had commented on her video, is that she didn't have the proper equipment. When you book Amazon, it says you need to have a lift gate. Now everyone gets around that. Sometimes we even had a truck without a lift gate, but you run into major issues, especially if you don't know the post offices, you don't know which post offices have a broken lift, and you don't know which post offices don't have a ramp. Why can't I think of a ramp at all? And you would have to downstack. You know, your lift gate might break, and you might have to run into that issue as well. But Amazon gives you 12 minutes on top of that. So she had to pick that whole pallet up. But it was extremely dangerous what she was doing, off the simple fact that she, like she said, she was a small woman. What if that pallet fell on top of her and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and the post office people don't get there till 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think her problem was you can use those ramps. Her issue was that she had the pallets. She was taking them off with the pallet long ways. If she
Mm-hmm.
would have had took the pallet off, you know what I mean, the face with the right way face with. If she would have turned the pallets to the side and was pulling it off, then all the weight would have been leveraged on each side, and it would have been
More
even
evenly.
on each side, and it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have been weight coming towards her as she was pulling down. The weight would have been distributed on the sides, and on top of that, because how those post office pallets are, you know, it's 3 rows of feet on there, one at the beginning, in the middle, and one at the end. And if she would have had lift that jack up, both of the feet on that pallet would have been outside of the ramp,
Mm-hmm.
and the inside of the pallet and the jack would have fit flushly inside of the ramp, and she could have pulled it down. Still would have been some speed and momentum, but it wouldn't been as much because she was pretty much level to the dock. So I just think it
Mm-hmm.
comes with experience and
Yeah.
coming out here and doing trial and error. I don't want to come down hard on her because the thing is, she didn't give up
Mm-hmm.
and she continued to do it and she did the best that she could do to get it done. And secondly, it's not all you have to realize that just because you have a lift gate doesn't mean that your lift gate gonna work all the time. You could get
Mm-hmm.
there and your lift gate don't work. So you have to one our favorite word. What's my favorite word?
Pivot.
You got to pivot. You got to know how to pivot. So
Yeah.
in situations like that, you need to always have in the back of your mind that I might have to down stack. I might have to
Yeah.
do some extra because it's business. It
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. I'm not gonna come down. I'm not gonna be real hard on her because I
Yeah.
waited till you
No,
show the video.
it
I don't
happened.
think she
It
did anything
happens.
necessarily bad. Yeah, I don't think she did
It
anything
happens.
bad though.
But it is dangerous though. That's what I want people to realize. Definitely those who have never run Amazon. If you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, you run into that situation and you don't know what to do. And then, you know, that's what you're faced with. And I remember when we first started and we had a rental with a lift gate and our lift gate broke on another load. We were doing like some OTR stuff and our lift gate broke while we were out in another state. And when we came back to do Amazon, the lift gate, they didn't have a chance to fix it yet. And I had to go to Providence Forge and they did not have any way to get the stuff off. I had like 4 pallets that I had to down stack and I was like an hour and a half late to every other stop after that. And I was ready to cry. And the lady was like, I've never seen a lady out here doing this before. And I was like, yeah, you probably will never see another lady because I'm not doing this no more. But I'm glad I didn't give up. Just like she said, sometimes if hustle is all you have, you just got to keep going with it because,
How long ago
4
was that
years
though? That was
later.
that was about to say that was about 4.5 years ago though.
Yep. So I'm glad I didn't give up, like she said, but you just never know what you're going to run into. And if you're not mentally prepared for that, then yeah,
You gotta
anything
remember, I
happens.
spent half the year with that apple load, pulling that. Not just apple, I was pulling pallets off the truck myself. I
Yeah.
was pulling 2, 3 pallets off. Is
You got
after a
to down stack
while,
half. Yeah.
yeah, down stack half and pull it
Yeah.
right the
You
hell
learn
off. I mean,
methods.
man, you
Yeah.
learn that because you ain't gonna let your money stop. So if you do find a truck that ain't got no lift gate, just know which loads to get. Once again,
Yeah.
like when we showed on the Patreon in our area, we have an entire post office list of
Mm-hmm.
every post office, over 100 something post office that
Mm-hmm.
we have. So and it has all the information from calling, what times they open, if you can drop, lift or not lift, if you need a just all that
Postmaster
information.
phone numbers, everything. Somebody that
Yeah,
worked there.
posting out all of that
Yep.
stuff. So I mean, once again, only the strong gonna survive,
Yeah.
which is what the video is about. So I would say that in that video was an example of somebody striving with a positive attitude, got it done. Because I ain't hear her be negative, be
Mm-hmm.
frustrated. I ain't hear her yell. I heard her use whatever she had to her strength. Because that's what she ended up saying. She like, I'm glad I'm built like this. So I mean, but it's the truth though, and that's the attitude you gotta have out here. Like my man that been out since 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's gonna take in trucking. If you decide to get into this industry, this is not an Airbnb, a Toro.
A
It's
tech
not one
job.
of tech. It's not one of them. I'm gonna sit back and chill. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be in the mindset of I'm gonna go out here and get it, which is why we're in the position we're in because we're willing to go out here and get it all the way up to the point to where we had to hire somebody because I can't be out here 7 days a week for 13 hours. I can't even have my wife out here 2, 3 days out the week, even doing an hour or two, because we have things at home that need to get done. And we also have this other aspect of the business that needs to get done, which is another thing, having a reliable partner with you. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to act like this was able to be successful without having a reliable partner, somebody that's trustworthy.
I pat myself on the back. I don't know if you saw that, but
Oh, good job. You deserve it, baby.
no, I
No,
definitely
100%.
have definitely having somebody you could trust and who has the same mind frame as you. helps out a lot. And I mean, Amazon definitely is something that females can do. I mean, I've seen more and more.
Fredericksburg. You going to
I've seen more and
Fredericksburg?
more. Yeah,
Oh, go ahead. My bad, baby.
I'll
My bad.
mute you. So more and more females I see out here doing it. Definitely ones who were with their husbands. At some point, you realize you can make more money if both of you are in a truck. Even and it allows people to get rest. So it's not like it's something um that working hard won't get you the results, but you just got to know, just get your mind. I'll unmute you.
Take me off. Yeah.
There you go. You
Yeah,
just
you're
gotta
gonna have.
you just gotta have the
Yeah.
right mindset. Go ahead, boo.
hmm
I'm sorry.
and networking, man. If I, which we're gonna holler at Amazon about this, I'm asking if we can get an exclusive deal to record inside because at this point we are definitely the East Coast corridor ambassadors, and I want to just record the show that we absolutely talk to everybody, every single driver, my Spanish brothers, my African brothers,
Mm-hmm.
everybody. We speak to everybody. Do not be a silent person. Speak to people. I just
Mm-hmm.
put a video out on Patreon about VEHO.
We ain't put that out yet, but it's
We
coming.
ain't put that out yet. Well, I got a video
It's
coming
coming.
out by this company that y'all need to sign up for. Go check the video out. But the thing is, I find out this information because I talk to people. You have to talk to people. I'm not even like a sociable person in that sense. But when it comes to business, I'm extremely sociable.
Yeah.
Outside of business, my wife would tell, I don't talk to nobody. I'm not hanging out. We ain't doing none of that. But when it comes to this business, though, you gotta talk. You gotta
Yeah.
find out the information. You gotta solidify yourself in this market, or you going to fall short. You gotta know where the money is going. You gotta know where it's at and how to get to it.
All right. I have another comment that came in. Mr. John Broswell said, I jumped out of the game exactly 1.5 years ago and went back to work as a company driver because Amazon got too cheap. I still keep authority active, but every time I look at the board, it's still second part bad rates. How are y'all doing it? Well, you're gonna have to check out the Patreon to see all the strategy. But yeah, rates are inconsistent, but that's the same all the way across all spot loads. You kind of try to get in where it makes sense, or you go to where rates are better if you're willing to travel. Amazon, the main thing that keeps us successful with Amazon is that my husband's favorite word is that we pivot. The same thing that we did 4 years ago is not what we're doing now, but because we study, like, I don't think y'all understand how much we study the load board, we study the routes. Like my husband just said, like, we have an entire list of post offices from what's on 95 North, 95 South, 64 East, 64 West, Central Virginia, like everything that we could break down, because no one is going to do that for you. And because we know what works well together, because we explore the contracts, the auctions, because we're willing to take any and everything just to try it out, we're able to understand what we can put together, what loads we can book at certain times. We understand what is consistent routes, what are going to be
Yeah.
something that you can kind of count on, and we just study it. We
Yeah.
breathe
I mean,
Amazon at this point.
but let me say this to your question,
Hmm.
to the comment about, I got out a year ago and how are we still doing it. We're doing it like my wife said. I'm trying not to divulge so much information because I try to. The
I mean, you
thing
can go to
is,
Patreon.
we leave that information on Patreon because we are that influential, that word, the influence word.
Influential.
Yes, we're that. Okay. To whereas Amazon look at our stuff. When people go to these meetings, to these Amazon meetings, they bring up we one of the top YouTubers that they bring up about the information about Amazon that we present. So
Hmm.
our technique cannot be put out into the public like that. If you really want to know how we doing it, it's not me trying to
To
sell
sell something.
to
Yeah.
sell you something.
Yeah.
We done made $1 million with Amazon with most of the time, one truck.
Yeah,
All right.
just
So
feelings.
exactly. So it is not absolutely critical that we just try to sell something to y'all. But
Yeah.
that information is behind a paywall to protect everybody that's coming into Amazon, so that the integrity of everyone, so that we all can still make that amount of money. Because what I realized what happened was, when we were giving people these technique and strategies, Amazon didn't do nothing but go behind us and change it to where you can't do that, because people was messing up. People
Mm-hmm.
was screwing it up. People was absolutely screwing it up. So to answer your question, the reason why we're able to make so much money with Amazon is, first thing, you want them details, you gotta get the Patreon. Second thing, we understand the system of how Amazon is going to adjust their loads. And the load board is not the only way for you to find out how to make money with Amazon. If you depend on Amazon load board, then you're pretty much gambling. You're just gambling. You should never, even if it's on the dat board, do not depend on a load board to supplement your company, because they're not going to do that for you. You have to be willing to accept or have an understanding of, there's a certain amount of money that I need to make, and this is how I'm going to get to it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what if you get what I'm saying, that's how we do it with Amazon. We don't necessarily have to always sit and wait for a particular special load. If I'm able to structure, schedule, or put loads together that financially position me to where I can still keep my company running, that's what I'm going to do. All right. So if I'm able to if I'm able to pick up a load at 11, that's $200-300, and get another load that's at 4 for another $200, and I'm able to make $500 in an 8-hour period. They give me my daytime, have my daytime available to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not hard to do with Amazon. Once
Yeah.
again, your
Well, it depends on
overhead.
your area. It depends on your area, but most areas.
No. Because I'm this year is the year that
Mhm.
I'm not going to make disclaimers about when we're speaking about this business. All right. When I speak about Amazon, I am going to absolutely assume that you did your due diligence, that you did not jump in a trucker company without looking at what's the prospects in your area. Do not call me if you live in West Bubblefucking Mississippi asking how to make $1 million with Amazon. It's in Mississippi. You know damn well you ain't got no facilities in Mississippi. All right. That's the same thing when we talk about how can I buy a truck. I'm going to assume that you did the least the bare minimum to your credit profile, to where you at least got a 630 or a 640, and you're not in a messed up financial position to where you can't either get a truck, rent, lease a truck, or have access to capital to where you can keep yourself sustainable, as well as maintain all your bills. All right. When you over in this section, over here, this is not necessarily a beginner stage. What I notice a lot on YouTube, as well as on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, there's a lot of box truckers and trucker influencers that are selling products and selling mentorships or whatnot. It's not my place to say if they work. It's not my place to say if they don't work. But what I do recognize and realize, the difference between my wife and I and those people, are that they're essentially giving you beginner introductory information: how to get your DOT, how to sign up with the FMCSA to get your MC number, how to get insurance, the BOC3, UCR, the basics of getting in, how to sign up for Amazon, how to sign up for the DAP board. These basics, the things that me and my wife give, are in-depth information that you have to be in it to understand it. So we're that second step, that second, third step, once you get past the introductory layer of trucking. So that's why that stuff has to be behind the paywall, because it's sensitive information. And it works. It works because
Yeah,
we show the numbers.
and we're
It
out
works.
here doing it every day.
And we're doing it.
But let me go back and get some of these comments. So, all right, Horseman said, I won't spill the beans about how to get money with Amazon, but it's definitely possible. I'm very lucky. I'm in Chicago and loads are plentiful. So, yes, definitely location. All right, Nedbrook said Amazon will adjust. Yes, they will adjust to whatever
You
makes
know they
them put
will.
their money in their pocket. All right, Winston Salem says, so if Amazon joins your Patreon, they can find your so-called grr sound effect
And,
secret.
and,
Listen, if
Mhm.
they join, then they paid. They're watching
They
anyway.
paid and
You
buy
think?
the exactly. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
All right, so when it comes to social media, Amazon, I'm 1,000% sure has a social media department that watches TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everybody. We're not the only people that talk about Amazon. This young lady was just right here pulling pallets off her truck, showing what she does for
But
Amazon.
let
But
me ask. But
what we're showing is strategy. Hold on, let me just finish my thought real quick. We're showing strategy, and if Amazon wants to pay to hear what our strategies are, then pay for it. They can pay the monthly whatever as well, but for free, just to just hand it to them and say, here, make adjustments around what we're saying works for us. They at least gotta, join another platform
man,
too.
yeah, no. I didn't
Yeah.
say Amazon can't see our information, and
Mm-hmm.
that because Amazon see our information is why they're changing it. No, that's not what I said. You missed what I said
Mm.
to that comment. What
You're
I
saying with
said was
people. Yeah.
when we give that information, people take that information and utilize it in the wrong way. Therefore, messing up certain aspects on the Amazon platform, which in turn they start to make those changes because then we're promoting a loophole that then people are utilizing but screwing it up.
Yeah.
Amazon didn't change nothing until we got thousands of views and people start screwing stuff. But if the right people that's willing to pay for this information, which means that I'm once again, we're going to assume that you are into this. You are in this. This is what you want to do. You want the right information and you want to do it the right way. If you're paying for it, then that means that you're more
You're
likely to
serious
be
about
responsible with that information compared to
right.
somebody that just run it through YouTube and see it freely. So that's gonna be the difference. I don't care if Amazon pay and see it, but at least they're gonna be part of the select few of people they are paying. Because we got a lot of free members, and we only got a select few paid members. So even still, I trust that our paid members are using all that information responsibly.
Right. And plus, anyway, whatever. All right. So Winston-Salem also said times have changed. Used to be very easy to make 4 to 5K per week by myself. The route changing and consolidation with low rates now make it difficult by myself. Yes, it is very difficult now. And
Appreciate it, bro.
Amazon, once again, um, just seeing how people are putting sorry, seeing how people put together loads, they then came up with the fact that they could do tours. And so now they are consolidating routes to pay way less than if, we had decided to put three different routes together. And they have figured, I think Relay was so uh for box trucks. I think Relay for box trucks was kind of like, I don't want to say an afterthought, but it wasn't really thought out. So I don't think they had a lot of people in position to really come up with efficient and effective ways to run relay for box trucks. And then when people start putting out information about it online, I think they then begin to strategize how to make that program more cost efficient for themselves instead of just throwing loads out there. And we kind of caught it at the beginning, well, middle, because Relay has been running for a long time, but it wasn't until 2020, 21 that the box truck really began to boom with Amazon. And so now I think that they're, I don't know, just kind of figuring out what really is efficient for them and cost effective for them. So I don't blame them for making the changes. And people, enough theft and bad actors made them have to pivot as well their program for box trucks because they really focus on line haul. That's the easiest thing that they can do for relay. So for when it comes to DDU, I think they're still figuring it out too. So if you started a couple of years ago, we were able to take advantage of the fact that they really didn't know what they were doing. They still don't really know what they're doing all the way efficiently, but in terms of trying to keep their pricing down and keep more money to themselves, they're figuring it out as we put out more information. And as people make more and more mistakes, they can put roadblocks up to try to prevent a lot of the issues that they had at first that were going on.
I,
So, like,
yeah.
yeah, Mr. Chicago.
And I really want people to understand. Oh, well, you got another comment? Go ahead. I'll
Yeah.
ask some more comments. Go ahead. What was the
Okay.
next comment?
It said, yeah, I'm in Chicago as well. And I'm going to say this wrong. I have no idea. Chanahan, Lowe's ain't going to keep you in business unless you're just trying to break even. And then Jamie K said, "Are your methods good for someone that wants to use a semi truck for relay?" Um,
I'm currently
oh
getting
no,
information about the semi trucks. Now,
yeah,
from my understanding, speaking to the guys that run semi trucks, the scoring and everything is totally different. When we get a rejection, it'll knock you down from an A plus to a B plus. Uh, the semis, their rejection scoring is way different. Semis, they got a lot of 36-hour blocks and things of that nature. I'm still getting things together for the semi information. Hopefully by the summer, we'll have that information ready available because I do want to buy a semi going into next year. But there is a way to do it. There is a way to make money with Amazon with the semis. Now, but far as with the box trucks, this is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to say it one more time. I say this all the time. Guys, until y'all can find me, somebody tell me, or somebody go to a YouTube channel, or you tell me anybody that's going to give you a company, and you're going to sign up for that company, and you like, that's my 4-5 grand a week right there. I'm good. I ain't got to worry about it. I done signed a 6-month contract. I want somebody to give me that because if there is, obviously we haven't been looking. All right. It don't matter where you're going with your box trucks. And I don't want to sound harsh about this, but I got to. I got to be tough about this. I don't care where you're going to go with your box truck. Every day is going to be a struggle. I don't care if you're just doing it to that board. I don't care if you get a Lowe's contract. I don't care if you doing a white glove, last mile, final mile. It don't matter. None of that stuff is guaranteed in the sense of this is my
yeah, I'm
guaranteed
set.
money. I can retire
Yeah.
from it. I'm set type situation.
Hmm.
That's what this is. And the reason why we stick with Amazon is because the platform is consistent and we're able to adjust the money accordingly. You can't do that with anything else unless you get a absolute contract, which is not readily available for box truckers. 10 people can't go out into the city and all 10 of us gonna get a contract. Only one of us gonna get one. But all 10 of us can sign up for Amazon and all 10 of us can run the Amazon load.
Hmm.
So
And
that's
whatever your
that's
overhead is depends on what you're
and that's
actually.
the second part. Your
Yeah.
overhead is the killer. The overhead is
Hmm.
the killer. If you got 2 car notes that equal you out $1,500 a month, your mortgage $2,500 a month. That's 4,000. You got say if you got kids and all these other bills. Most people bills are coming up between $4,000 and $7,000 a month. So you're paying $50,000 to $60,000 a month alone for your personal bills. That's not including your business bills.
Hmm.
So it's everything is predicated based upon you. There's not going to be a for sure solution. There's not going to be a for sure answer. So yeah.
All right. And also, just quickly to answer that question about do our methods work for a semi? A lot of our methods have to do with
Dang, I'm
um,
losing internet
post
connection.
office loads as well. I'm sorry, these allergies and things is just making my. So I apologize, y'all. But um, a lot of our methods have to do with DDU, which will not, have anything to do with semis. So a lot of our strategy does have to do with that. But just studying the load board and understand things like that, you could implement that. Or if you're hiring people to drive box trucks for you, then you could definitely uh, use our methods. But semis, since they don't run post office loads like that, then not so much. I say I did it for 4 years. I had 5 trucks at one time, but between rates and breakdowns, I was losing too much money. I think there's a sweet spot that most people sometimes you got to figure out exactly how many people and vehicles is actually going to make you profit. Um, yeah, 5 trucks that might have been maybe if it was three
Woo!
instead of five.
My bad, baby. Hey, baby, they canceled your Fredericksburg one for 12, and we got that $1.75.
Wonderful. So I ain't even got to go to work right now. Wonderful.
Yeah, I go nowhere.
Thank
My
you,
bad.
Amazon. See, they was like, don't talk bad about us. We'll
That's
bless
her.
you real quick. All right.
That's her. Anyway,
So,
so
all
oh,
right. So, I 5-star. Hey, Sean, how you doing? So, a big issue with the semi trucks is that sometimes Amazon won't let them drop off early. I was at a facility last week, and the yard was at capacity, and they were turning the semi trucks away. Uh,
yeah, they do that.
yeah.
There's a
See
lot of
that?
stuff with the semis.
Yeah.
Semis, that's a different ball game than
Yeah.
box trucks. It's like I actually was on a Facebook forum and people, it was a question somebody was asking, how do I change my capacity? But it was over there by California, so they were trying to change the capacity and it had to be carb compliant. So in order for your truck to be carb compliant, you got to have all these different other, let me change my phone. You got to have all these other different things you need to have or whatnot. So yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. I just kind of got lost. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got Bay Area said, do you guys use ELD? No, we do not, because we stay within the 150 air mile radius, and we start and end at the same location every day. So we do not use a ELD. We use paper logs, and we do timesheets and mileage logs. So
Oh, and yeah, get to the next comment. But I want to say this to the person that said they had 5 trucks
uh
and due to breakdowns and things of that nature. Now, once again, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, like just an advertisement, but that's why it's important for y'all to check out those certain videos on Patreon. The reason why I'm able to hire a driver and not worrying about the pay, his schedule, or maintenance is because once you solidify in a certain area, you're able to do it. I'm not gonna put too much out there, but there's a way to where you can guarantee your driver freight to where they have a set schedule, they're only going a particular amount of miles, and you're limiting the amount of wear and tear on your truck, because a lot of that comes with going all different type of places, putting a whole lot of different miles on there, and then the driver, not being accustomed to that particular route. So if you got a driver on a set route, a particular route, and they're able to run that route, and you have that consistent, then you're gonna have a lot of longevity with hiring an employee, which is what we show how to do on the Patreon. I'm trying not to divulge so much information right here. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to divulge so much, but there's a way to do it. So if you want to know, man, get over there to the Patreon
but we
and
can't
get
help
that.
out with the breakdown situation. That's just, it's always gonna pop up. And if you got 5 trucks with maintenance issues, that can become very costly versus 1 or 2 trucks. If you have 1 truck that breaks down, then you go to rent while that one is in the shop, versus 3 trucks have an issue at the same time. That's a whole nother financial ball game.
Yeah.
So all right, so Bay Area said he ran Amazon last week for the first time and ended up wasting my time because I couldn't find loads to bring me back home. And you were the one that was in Tennessee, right? So that's just going to end up coming with you learning your area. Now, it's difficult for us to explain how Amazon works in order for you to make your way back home, but Amazon, definitely box trucks, you do have a lot of deadhead if you do not lock in loads that for sure are not going to be canceled, because it's just not going to happen for you unless you
Yeah,
understand your area. You
try
have to know
and
your
try
area and what facilities are around you.
try this technique, Bay Area. See if this can work for you. I don't know if this will work, but try this out. 2 things that you can do. The first thing that you want to do is make sure that you set your radius from your home domicile that you're pulling your freight from. Set that radius about 150, 200 miles, and consistently watch that from Monday until Saturday, and just consistently see around what time are they popping up loads, to where are they popping up loads at 8 or 9 o'clock in the northern part of Tennessee, the southern part of Tennessee, the eastern, the western part. Check that out, because you might get yourself where you can do a round trip. The second thing that I would do if I'm having a lot of issues with deadhead is, this is when you would want to utilize the
The
DAT board,
contract.
something like the
Oh.
DAT board. Contracts, yeah, but say if I'm still doing spot load, you want to utilize the DAT board, also Curry, and the many other apps that we have. You should have like 7 apps up every day. You should have like 7 apps up, honestly. Definitely if you're doing spot loads. But anyway, what I would do is get the DAT board and then set the loads for like a week out. So if I know I'm picking up loads on Monday, I'm gonna have Monday the 11th. I'm gonna have the loads set on the DAT board from the 11th to the 18th. So now I'm going to plan myself accordingly based upon what I can get from off of the DAT board, as a daytime load. So if you're having trouble getting daytime loads and you don't know how the postal truck work, say if you, I'm trying to think of somewhere in Tennessee, like I guess it's Laverne to Chattanooga, the Chattanooga northern part of Tennessee or whatever. I don't know, but say if I'm picking up in Laverne and I know I'm gonna pick up in Laverne, I'm gonna end up somewhere around Chattanooga on Wednesday. So on Monday, I'm on the dashboard, on the current, on all these other load boards, especially on the dashboard. I'm gonna schedule myself. I'm gonna see what loads they have on Wednesday in that area. I'm gonna go ahead and book that a load in that area, and then on Wednesday, at nighttime, I'm going to go ahead and book a load from Amazon going towards that area. So if I book a
Mhm.
load from Amazon going towards that area, that's $300-400. Get another load that's up there in that Chattanooga area or wherever the area I'm finishing at. Of course, that's also going to depend on how far that's going or whatever, but that's just another technique that you can use if you're having a lot of deadhead. You got to utilize all the load boards. You got to see where's the freight coming from. And by you utilizing all of these load boards, guys, unlike Amazon, these other load boards, if they keep calling you as a carrier, they're going to continuously call you. They're going to personally know you. You build a personal relationship. For instance, our guy that we're working with, the dispatching that we have as a dispatching partner, that if you want to get on for the lease on program, he does bellhop, and he already told me I can talk about it. But bellhop is, for y'all that aren't familiar with it, is like a sort of like a moving company where people rent your truck to move, but bellhop already have employees, so they will load the truck up. You'll just sit in the truck, they'll load it up, and you'll just drive it to the destination. But he has a personal contract with them because he been working with them for so long, so they call him whenever they're in the Richmond area or whenever it's working in the Richmond area, they call him first. So to be not long with it, make sure you're utilizing every single app. Stop just using Amazon. Use every app. Remember, if you're on our Patreon, you see that 2-3 loads from other apps could be about $2,000-3,000 for us
Mhm.
outside of Amazon.
And also, since you're new Bay Area, you're not going to have full access to the load board. So there could be other loads that you just don't see because you have to go through that probationary period. It's about 6 weeks. And if you uh, keep your score high enough, try to maintain, like run kind of low, low amount of loads so that you don't affect your score negatively. Try to stay at a 100 so that when you do get access to the full load board, you can see everything. And you just may be missing a lot of those facility to facility loads. And like you said, once you understand your area and you know where there's some facilities, then you could book loads that go towards those facilities that could potentially bring you back at least closer to home. So, but that's really just that takes time and experience. And
Yeah,
Amazon is always building new facilities and having new opportunities. So, even if it's not something that's working today, next month it could be a whole nother type of route that's coming back to your area that you didn't know existed. So,
yeah. I want y'all to download Curry. Keep saying this. I want y'all to download that app. Well, I also want y'all to sign up for the low boards like Truck Stop. Also that Solaris low board,
select
low,
this or something like that. I don't know
Selectus.
how to say it.
Sign up for that low board as well.
And then they got, of
Sign up
course,
for
JB
JB
Hunt.
Hunt
Yeah.
360. Sign up for
One, two,
JB Hunt
three, low
360.
board.
123 low board. Also,
Mhm.
CH Robinson. Sign up for CH Robinson low board.
Did you say truck stop?
Yeah, I said Truck Stop. You need to utilize all of those low boards until you can narrow them down to the ones that work for you.
Right.
Curry, Amazon works for us. I
Mhm.
I downloaded the DAT board, was paying for it and everything. I just it just didn't fit in just didn't fit our model for right now because I'm getting work from the other two.
Mhm.
You know that I mean I'm never
Right.
going to use it. If anything was to happen, I'm going straight there. But as of right now, by the grace of God, I'm gonna have to use it.
Right. And if you're just starting out, you really have to keep your options open because you don't know which lane you're really going to fit in. You know, you may start because you want to do Amazon, which is what a lot of people started their trucking companies with, saying I'm starting for Amazon, but then they get into it and realize that it isn't what they thought it was, or the loads are inconsistent, they're getting cancels, or the rates are low, and then to supplement their their income, they have to branch out. And sometimes that's a blessing in disguise because you didn't know what else was out there in your area until you broaden your boundaries and just see what else is an opportunity for you. All right, so just quickly, we had Horseman said, "You're wrong, John. You can do Amazon only and make 4K a week if you know what you're doing." True. And Chicago has more loads than anywhere else. You just have to know how to get loads. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
that is true.
location is,
Chicago is
location is everything.
yeah,
Like, location is everything.
Chicago, Wisconsin, Kansas City. That Midwest is number one. I
For
I
Amazon? Are you talking about for Amazon, or are you talking about for freight, period?
everywhere. Amazon too. The
Mhm.
Midwest is number one for Amazon and freight period. Like I was always confused when I heard people from Chicago was like, I can't get. I'm like, man, I can jump on Chicago joint right now. Y'all got contracts on there right now. That's decent. And you know what I mean, beyond the fact that you got Kansas right there, you got Wisconsin right there on the other side of you. You know, is Oklahoma ain't Oklahoma below
Below Illinois?
Illinois? Oh
I
no,
don't it's not
is,
connected.
is Missouri, anyway, that Midwest area,
We see who didn't watch my state series. No, I'm playing.
shit, that's geography. That's stupid. But yeah, you in the Midwest, man, you good. You in the Midwest, you good. There's not a lot of competition out there. And if you know how to really schedule yourself, you'll be straight in the Midwest. I
Yeah.
definitely say that. Places that struggle would be places like Mississippi and Arkansas, North Dakota. Yeah, you got to be in some like real off areas or places.
All right, let me go back up for some of these comments. All right, Horseman said, "I've been doing this for 3 years. I've come to the conclusion that renting is the way." We have always gone back and forth between renting, owning, and right now we're back
I'll
in
be
renting.
real. The
And
renting is yeah, it's how you do it.
yeah,
I'm not gonna say
if you have
the
work, then
renting
definitely.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you got the work, it's just I tell people, man, it alleviates that maintenance thing.
Mm-hmm.
It alleviates it because once you get that rental, people say, man, my money gone. Uh, like for instance, I'm gonna be transparent, right? So you for y'all that's just started, you can go to Ryder. Ryder got the Amazon account. It's for everybody. It ain't nothing special. It's a $1,600 deposit and $5.99 a week, like 13 cents a mile. You get the weekends free. Depending on how many miles you get, you probably pay about between $1,100 and $1,300 a week. So you get like a $300 refund. But you gotta put down $1,600. So you can say I put down $1,600, but then if you make 4 or 5K with that, subtract, let's say the 4K, subtract the 1,600, what you left over with? $2,400. Mind you, like I said, it might not be the whole 16, but you left over with $2,400. So you didn't necessarily, quote unquote, lose your money because the truck was able to help you make money. $2,000 that you weren't going to make at first, and you're not putting nothing to the side for maintenance. So once again, another thing is your overhead. Don't your overhead ain't horrible. You should be straight. 4 to 5K with Amazon shouldn't be no more than about like 2,200, 2,500 miles in a week.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
that was that. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, people comments are coming. I'm trying to keep up. But all
Yeah.
right, to go back to the renting situation, if you have consistent work and you know that you can plan around that, then yes, you can profit with the rental. And like you said, it really just alleviates the headache. And I know for us, when we purchased trucks, one of our trucks, like you said, didn't have a lift gate. One did have a lift gate. So the one without a lift gate limited the type of work that we could do. So essentially, even if we ran our own truck and didn't have the rental costs, we couldn't run like Curry, where we had to use a lift gate to take materials off the truck. We couldn't run certain post offices. Or you were putting yourself in a position to have to down stack, which takes time and wear and tear on your body. So it just depends on where you are in your, I guess, logistics career as to how much money you need to survive and what you're willing to alleviate. Is if cost is what you're trying to profit the most, then yes, renting is not going to allow you to profit the most. But if the headache of maintenance and the headache of waking up and your truck break down and you know that you could call somebody tomorrow and have another truck ready for you, they got the PMs, they got inspections that are done for you. There's so much stuff that renting alleviates as well. So a combination of the two is really what I think is best, but that's once you get to a certain point. All right, and then Horseman said, Wisconsin and Chicago stay busy 24/7. Ned Brooks said,
Yep.
yes, it is. I'm not sure what Ned Brooks said, yes, it is too, but he said, yes, it is. All right, so Winston-Salem said, Curry has been dead in my area in the last year. Used to run a contract with them 2 years ago in Chantilly, delivering AC and plumbing materials to construction sites. That was $600 per day gig for 7 months. Was that Ferguson? Because, yeah. All right, so then, and you can jump in whenever, boo. I'll slow down, but some things have come in. Somebody said, John B said, you straight line, bro, about renting and making 4K a week, not even in peak season. Is that possible? Sir, I'm not sure who you think is lying. We ain't never fulfilled our numbers. We
Now
made
you
8,000
got
a
people
week.
on here. No. Hey, no. I don't care about that.
But yeah, it's fine.
We got people
Like,
on here right now that's making 4 or 5K in the rental, brother. Like that ain't nothing.
yeah. And
That
we're not
ain't
the
nothing
ones, and
special,
whoever's
brother.
on here
Yeah,
saying that
we
they've
ain't
made
doing
it,
nothing special.
it's possible. It's
Yeah, we
possible.
ain't doing nothing special, brother. Trust. There's
Yeah,
people on here.
we're not doing the
People
lying
on
thing.
here
I don't
right
know.
now.
Yeah, I don't know who you were
People on
saying
here
was
right now
lying,
that's doing this.
but it's okay.
Yeah,
I
people on
think
here right now that's doing that.
yeah, and it's not impossible. Once again, it's knowing your area, knowing what's available to you, securing contracts, and getting out here and doing the work. You can make 4,000. Like I'll be honest, we make more money when it's not peak season
Then what
than
it is, peak
peak
season.
season. Definitely with
That's
Amazon.
for us. That's
Yeah,
for us.
like
Look,
I'd rather take all of December
you know
off.
what? I would do this for y'all. I would do this for y'all because we in Rig 5. For that individual, John, I could go around Rig 5 and out of 10 people, I promise you, and I'm gonna do a low number. I promise you, at least 5 of them make 4,000 to 5,000 a week.
Hmm.
At least 5 of them. I go to out of 10 people on Amazon in Rig 5, at least 5 of them make 4 to five
That's
thousand
the
dollars a
owner
week. I ain't gonna
operator.
say it's easy,
Hmm.
huh?
I said that's the owner operator. Yeah.
Yeah, owner operator. That's owner operator. And I ain't gonna
Mhm.
say like they're getting it because it's easy, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's just with Amazon. So you
Yeah.
can do it. You can
And
do
there's
it.
so many
Just that the
different
people,
techniques that you can use.
yeah,
But
they ain't talking about it though. If they're making
yeah.
4 to 5,000, they ain't gonna tell you. I don't want you to mess it
Nope.
up. I don't want you to mess it up. People are grabbing loads at 9, 10 o'clock at night for $200, $300. Pick another load at 3 in the morning for another $200, $300. They're at $500 or $600, and then they might try to get them a daytime load. So people on average are averaging $500 to $600 a night. People that want to work with Amazon,
Hmm.
they got the loads. They got the loads. They're not paying a lot, but once you start stacking them,
Hmm. Yep. I mean, you just have to no, yeah. All right, so let me see. Back to Ned Brooks. He said, I think rent caps you at a certain amount. I wouldn't want my money to be capped. I don't know if it caps you at a certain amount because I mean it just depends on what you're running and what your
rentals,
overhead is. So
yeah.
I
See,
mean
see, see the
it's so hard to speak on when you it's so hard to speak on gross versus net because everybody's
well,
business is different.
yeah. Well, now look, if you got a rental, right, and if I'm able to make, if I do 2,500 miles in a week with the rental, and I'm averaging 4,500 to $5,000. And the most I'm doing, I mean, 2,500 means me going to the load, picking up the load, completing the load, and being back home base with the truck. All equal out to $2,500, 5,000. You can make money. But if I start going over the road and I'm doing 4, damn near 5,000 miles in a week, which is a whole lot with a rental, now you're losing money because now you're paying more to keep the rental essentially, as well as being out on the road doing so much miles, you're adding more expenses to yourself. So that at that point, you're chasing profit because now you're spending so much, because you're putting so much miles on there, then you're so far out, you having to spend money on lodging, food, and all these different aspects. So that to an extent, there is a cap on the rentals. The rental, in my opinion, need to be utilized when you have a contract. When you have a contract, that's when that rental can be utilized to its max. When you have a for sure set amount of money that you know you're going to make, and then you can pile on top of that money. Once again, you get over there to that Patreon, and you can see the contract we got. Once you solidify that contract, then that rental makes all sense. We're buying a truck right now. We're going to buy a truck, but we're going to keep that rental for our employee. It eliminates so much stress.
Sorry, I just ran through all the comments just so everybody can have the conversation up on the screen, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep up with everything. But essentially, the sentiment right now in the comment section is whether or not you can actually make money with the rental. And so Mr. Ned Brooks said the cap is pretty much if you go over the mileage. So yeah. So I mean, yes,
Exactly.
they don't want you to do like 3,500 miles a week, which is the OTR situation. But once again, what we have always said is that box trucks are not for OTR. People run them OTR, but box trucks are made for local loads. They are made for a lot of final mile, facility to facility, your home, you're back to the same location every day. That's what box truck routes are. And so the more you do that and stay local, you can make a $600, like Horseman said, you know, we run Ferguson as well with Curry, $600 for 50 miles some days. One day it was 6 miles that we did for them for like $400 to $600. So when you find certain contracts that make sense with your box truck, then yes, you won't have to worry about the cap out because you aren't running that many miles. And just like with Amazon, the way that we have, you know, booked our loads and the way that we run and the opportunity that we've had with how we have our situation going on right now, it's not running up the miles like that. And we're still making that money. So with the rental. All right, so all right, so Jamie said, if you're looking for a driver in New York, I'm available. We haven't spread our wings that far. But if we do, you know, I always had a dream of Ebony Diamond, Miller Moving Solutions on billboards. So maybe one day in New York.
And that's crazy with New York, because New York is probably the only section, Jersey and New York, is from Philly, Jersey, New York. It's probably the only section on the East Coast that got good prices, but the cost up there is ridiculous. Tolls, bridges, it's ridiculous. You make all that money, but you're giving it right back to the city.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it'd be prime time if the cost up there wasn't so expensive. I mean, they'd pay you a load from Camden, Jersey to Brooklyn for like $500, but shit's gonna cost you $200 to get there.
Yeah.
It ain't no, it's like 30 minutes to get there, and it's gonna cost you all that money just to go across the bridge. You might have to take a different route because of the low hanging. So, that New York, man, that New York, Jersey area, frustrating. And Jersey you can't make lefts, ain't it? You can't make a left up there or something.
No left turn.
Yeah, I think they have like no left turns.
We stay in Virginia for a reason. We stay in Virginia for a reason. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead to the next video that we had going on. Great conversation though, guys. Keep it going. But once again, the topic of tonight's live was, are you built for this? And all the things that might get thrown at you while you're running your truck. So this is the next one.
Look at my buddy's truck. It's got a problem. Hey, are you sure somebody's not in there doing something crazy?
All right, I don't know if you can see that, but his truck was just a bouncing. So pretty much it's a maintenance. Maintenance is going to throw you every
Show
single
the
time.
other clip. Yeah, show the other clip though. Show the other clip.
I'm gonna get to that one.
Because
So
that
maintenance.
stuff. Oh, yeah,
No, I'm
my bad.
saying when you're deciding to get into this industry, and they definitely talked about it like a few comments ago saying maintenance is what took them out, like not expecting not expecting to have to pay so much. One thing for a box truck could be $5,000 immediately, and that could be low end. It could be your truck that you just bought for Facebook Marketplace needs $10,000 worth of work. So if you mentally are not prepared for maintenance just out the blue occurring, it could be the middle of the night if you're running Amazon and you have no contingency plans in place. Then yes, and knowing what's wrong with your truck and paying attention to what's going on is very important. So I just threw that one in there for some fun. Yes. All right, so let's see. I just had my wife pull up an old invoice from Ryder, and it was 12 cents a mile. We ran them trucks crazy, and it was impossible. It was only paying flat rate at 480, which was barely profitable. Yeah, the rental can't. I mean, once again, overhead is everything, whether or not that rental is going to make sense and whether you have secure work that doesn't make you run crazy mileage.
You say you're paying 480 a week, 12 cents a mile.
Uh-huh.
See, that's and it comes with strategy on not quite the price per mile, but how you can stack loads together that keep you in a certain amount of mile range, but you're still profiting on the number wise. So just because you made, for instance, you book a load and you made $600, but if the load was 220 miles and all together for that day you did 450, 500 miles, an average tank holds what, let's just say 70 gallons, 140 gallons, you getting 10 miles, 10 miles, 100 miles. So you may get 800 miles on a truck. So if you're doing 500 miles, you got 300 miles left. You got a quarter tank every day. So you're almost filling up 220 every day. So just because the load is $600, but you're putting in $200, $150 in diesel daily, that load automatically goes down to $450. Then you got doing the daily cost of the load. That daily cost is gonna run you about 127, 177 with insurance and all that. Now you're down to what, about $250, $300. So after a week, you may profit $1,000, $1,500, and if your bills outweigh that, it's gonna be hard to be sustainable. So it's a numbers game, man. It's a numbers game.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
I'm about to play this other one. I'm about to play this other one. So another thing that you are going to run into while you're out here on the road is DOT. Now, because we run non-CDL, a lot of times we fly under the radar. However, everyone loves to put everything that they're doing on social media. So FMCSA watches, the DOT watches, everyone watches what the trucking industry puts online. So I'm sure more and more regulations are going to come onto box truckers. So yeah, just keep in mind that even though you're not CDL, you still are held to a standard. And depending on your area, you may or may not get stopped as often, but it's always a possibility. So let's go ahead and watch this one.
7 violations. One, you're operating the CMV without the legal trade name displayed on both sides of the motor vehicle.
Okay.
So when you come up here, you're sleeping in the truck.
Yeah, I said in the truck.
Or if you're using some kind of personal conveyance time, you got to be able to indicate what it's personal conveyance for.
And I think that's a great area.
Turning wheel all the way.
It's affecting the surface, your friction surface. It's too slick.
I got to replace the wheel seal. And at least clean the brake shoes, possibly replace them.
I thought he was just being a dick.
Because you have bearings in here, and if there's nothing to lubricate those bearings, they'll heat up and they'll seize.
This is a level 1 inspection. Whenever you get put over by DOT and they stop you for inspection, they pretty much check your whole truck, the brakes, the tires, turn signals, pretty much everything. So we'll see how up to date my truck is. All the way to the floor.
You have 7 violations.
All right, so
Damn.
going through that comment section was brutal.
Yeah, I
So
want you to play that because that that is another reason why rentals are important. The difference between going through a weigh station in a rental compared to going through a weigh station on your truck.
yeah, yep.
That's another positive of having a rental because two things with the rental. If you hire a driver and you got that driver in that rental truck, if you're not teaching your driver about pre-trip
Free trips.
inspections and post-trip inspections, then you can run into issues like this. And with having a rental, that falls back on the rental company. That don't fall back on your DOT number. So, and I know people are like, well,
Those
you
certain
have your
things.
DOT number on the
Yeah,
side of the door.
yeah.
No, that's definitely on the rental company. You don't give them they use their DOT number on the door. You got this from them, and you signed paperwork saying that it was all up to date. That's on the rental company. That's not on you.
You may have to
So,
fight that, but yeah. Because once again, if you're not doing your pre-trips, which is what a lot of people in this comment section was saying, like, if you just jumping in behind the wheel and just going, whether it's your truck or the rental truck, there's certain things that you got to make sure are properly functioning on your truck. So make sure that you're doing those. Yeah, the comment section was brutal. But it was just a lot of violations, and he was just on a level 1. So if you don't even know what levels like there are to a DOT inspection, once again, shameless plug, go over to the Patreon. We do have the ebook that I put together. Is a full resource book. This is not a book about how to run Amazon. Like, the ebook that I put together started with how to start the company all the way to where to find the information on the FMCSA websites, what level of inspections there are, what to expect when you get those inspections. It's a whole plethora that you could print off or, just keep in your book, whether you have for yourself or for your drivers, to understand what they're getting themselves into when it comes to this industry. Because once you're out on the road, if you get pulled over, it's your responsibility. And so 5 Star said that he was out in Pennsylvania. Well, box truck was in Pennsylvania, and they're notorious for randomly stopping 26-foot box trucks for inspections. Like I said, everyone putting all this information out online, they know that a lot of these box trucks are just not up to par. They're just not, because a lot of people had no previous experience when it came to CDL. I didn't know anything. My husband knew everything, and he taught me. So there's a lot that I know now because of that. But if you've never been in the trucking industry and you jump in your truck like it's your car and you just go, then you're going to have a lot of issues if you don't have a resource that lets you know what they're looking for. And that's another great thing about having a good mechanic as well. If you are getting side mechanics that you're trying to be cheap for, and they just piecemeal stuff together for you, and you get pulled over, you will be put out of service like this young man. And if you're
but
not teaching yourself
but
what to
level
look
one is
for,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
but
level 1.
that
He
that
had
was
7
ridiculous though.
violations.
7 on a level one. A level one ain't nothing but like you said. My turn signals. Your turn signals should be on working. Your high beams should be working. Your wheel seal in the back. You can see that. You can just look under your truck. The wheel seal is connected to the axles. Right under the axles, big old ball. You can see if it's, or you put your finger on there. You can see if it's leaking oil. Your wheel seal, your tires. You should have a bumper in there. Smack your tires with or a bat. Smack your tires or do the simple tour. It should be 2 3/4 in the front, and I forgot, or 2 or 3/32 in the back. Some of that next, anyway, do the penny thing. Check your thread. As long as your thread count, and then your license. You got your DOT card, and then your license is straight.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rust on the undercarriage that's going to cause anything to fall, anything. It's the level 1 is real simple. So you had to not
And
been
he
paying
said,
attention to your truck to,
and the
to
first
get
thing he
that
said
many
was, I was
violations.
sleeping in my truck. Once again, I
That's a,
keep telling y'all, you cannot sleep in your truck. Like, you
if you
should,
don't have a sleeping berth, you
yeah,
can't
if you
sleep in
don't
there.
have a DOT approved sleeper, now taking a nap, that's different, but you cannot sleep
You can't
in a
reset
box.
in your
Right.
truck over the road.
You cannot do that. So if you got your pillows, your blankets, everything out, first of all, you should have all that folded neatly up under your seat. If you have some storage, put that stuff away. Your truck should be clean. All they should see is you in the seats and your logbook or your, whatever else you got for paperwork. But, a junking truck is going to get them to asking questions. And if you
I mean,
don't know
that's
the
a fail
answers
too.
to,
If you got anything on the floor, that's a violation. Your feet got to be clear on the floor. I know that's for CDL. You can't have stuff on the floor. You can't have water bottles and nothing on the floor because that stuff can roll up under the pedal. That's a violation as well. So that's a requirement. You got to have the floor inside of the cab clean.
right. It said the maintenance issue was a problem, but overall he was not organized. His DOT medical card was on his phone. The fire extinguisher was not mounted. A total hot mess. Yes, you have to be organized when you're getting into your truck. I know non-CDL, it flies over everybody's head thinking it's not that serious, and a lot of people don't take it serious. And depending on your area, if you're not running into DOT officers often, then you're like, I'm not going to pay attention to any of this. I'm not going to do a pre-trip. I'm not going to make sure that I got my compliance binder together. I'm not going to print off my UCR paper and print off my insurance cards, print off what else? If you're renting, making sure that you have your rental agreement with you. It's a bunch of things that you could just have, and the officer would just leave you alone if you just could hand them that information instead of saying, well, I'm not sure, and your truck is a mess. You just look like you don't know what you're doing. And so they're going to violate you and then put you out of service.
Be
And I don't
professional.
know, if you have a load on your truck, that means that you can't even move. You're going to have to
Yeah,
get someone to cover the load for you.
be professional. Be professional. Your company is a real company. You are a real company just as much as Walmart is a real company. You're a real company just as much as FedEx is a real company. The only thing that separates you from a FedEx is the amount of people, the amount of income coming in, but you still are a business as well as as the big conglomerates. You still are a business. So if you operate like that, definitely the DOT officers will respect you a whole lot more as far as not picking with you. Because I just felt like with box truck bros, once they saw one violation, they just picked on them.
Yeah.
They just
And
picked
he
on them.
gave
Once
it
they
to them.
saw one thing, they just picked on them.
It was easy after that. It was like, oh, he don't know what he got going on. Let me keep asking questions. And he helped them. He's like answering stuff that he didn't need to say. But
Yeah.
either way, stay organized. And if you're new to this industry, then these are the things that you definitely need to consider. If you're not ready for that, then you might want to take some time to be a company driver first, get some experience under your belt, and then take that leap, because it's a whole lot of money when you're getting these violations. Like you saw, he couldn't move. He was put out of service. He had to get someone to come and fix certain issues on his truck before he could even pull off. And if you have a load on your truck and that happens, and you decided to go OTR that day, and now you're, I don't know, 2 states away, who's going to cover that load for you? It's a mess. So keep that in mind. All right, some comments. We had Pure Peru Familia. I have 26-foot Amazon relay contract, but rates are low in DFW area, Dallas Fort Worth. How in the F is y'all making $5K a week? LOL, I want in. You gotta come over to the Patreon.
Look,
Yeah.
for
I mean,
real, it's not.
listen. What we're doing is not impossible. What we're doing is not something that other people do not do. Knowing your area and having a strategy is what makes the difference. If you're jumping in your truck and you have no plans and you're just picking off the low board, then no, you're not going to make money. You're not going to make money.
And when we say a plan, when I tell you, when we say a plan, I mean sit down and write this stuff out. Write these numbers down. Write these loads down. Pull the load board up. Have the load board up on three different devices to see if there's a pattern going on. Hold up, this phone is catching, the Android is catching these loads, and the iPhone is only catching these loads, or the computer catching these. It's not easy, but it's possible, and it takes technique and it takes studying,
Strategy.
strategy, and
Yes.
I'm talking about digging in it, digging in it, and then having a good team, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. And me and my
Yeah.
wife work together to really make this happen. Once again, you go on Patreon and we show our loads. And when I show you the loads, that's gonna clarify, give you more clarity on how we make that with Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Once I
Yeah.
once I show you the loads and then show you what we did to do it, you like, oh well, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Cause
Like we're
I'm,
not
I,
doing
cause,
something that's like out the way. We don't have a
yeah.
like.
Like I should have talked to my man. I should have talked to the 3 people that was right there at Rig 2 with me, and I should have just said, "Hey man, how much you make a week?"
Mm-hmm.
And they work 5 or 6 days, and they make 3,500 to 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
It is 10 o'clock at night, and there was 3 people over there sitting with me. I don't know if y'all heard me on here, but my
I
man was like,
muted
"Hey,
you.
where you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to Fredericksburg. I'm going to Fredericksburg. Where you going after that?" "I'm coming back to Rig 5. I'm coming back to Rig 5 too." We
Mm-hmm.
both about to come back to Rig 5 and do a second load.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I ain't gonna tell you how much I'm getting paid, but it's between $500 and $600 just with the 2 loads. Then I got a third one.
Right.
So just between them 2 loads is $500-600, as well as my man over there, $500-600,
Mm-hmm.
and the other 3 people. So you know, hey man,
Horseman said these guys are the reason I let other load boards go and go full time with Amazon. Amazon is guaranteed money, not what if money. Amazon
facts.
definitely is guaranteed in the sense that they always have a load. Whether it's somewhere that you want to go is a different story. If it's the type of load that you want to take, if it's your favorite post office or if it's your favorite facility,
All that
maybe
don't
not.
mean
But
nothing
they,
if you're trying to
yeah,
get
but if
money. If you're
you
trying
want
to get
to make
money, that
money,
shouldn't mean
then
nothing.
you have to not care about stuff like that. You cannot say I want to make $5,000 a week, but only if I could take this post office at this time. Like you have to be willing to do a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily want until you do what you can until you do it until you're able to do what you want. And if you haven't been studying, then you're stuck with doing what you can. And it's not going to make you that money. But we have put in time, effort, blood, sweat, tears into understanding Amazon. And I'm not just talking about Amazon load board. I'm talking about Amazon contracts, Amazon auctions, Amazon tours, Amazon facilities, the type of facilities, where these facilities are located, what makes sense, how much do they normally pay, what time do these loads come out, is this a real route or is this a made up route that's probably going to get canceled, is this something that I should bank on or should I book two because I know chances are they're going to cancel this one, so at least if they cancel this one I still got this one in place. Like if you don't understand all of what I just said, then no, you're not going to make the 5,000. You're probably going to make 25, 3,000, and that's still good. But if you're trying to max it out, like when I tell you we pulled out every single tool in our tool bag to put this situation together to create this challenge. And like I said, I wasn't expecting it to be consistent for 6 weeks straight, 12 weeks straight, but because we know at this point it's not a lot of guessing that we're doing. So yeah, just you got to study. If you wanted to be a doctor, if you wanted to be an obstetrician and you're like I'm going to deliver babies,
What's up?
you would be sitting.
It's 11:30.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up soon. But if you said that you wanted to be a doctor, you would plan on going to school for 7 to 10 years. And you would be okay with that because you're like, I know at the end of it, once I finish studying, that I'm going to make this money. My future is going to be set, and I'm willing to put in the work now so that later I can have a better understanding and be the best obstetrician I can be and deliver all these babies. Now, we're not delivering babies, we're delivering packages. But if I know that studying Amazon for the past 4 years was going to put me right here, right now, it was well worth putting in that work because now we don't have to guess. We studied, we took that time from day one when everyone else was saying Amazon was trash. We said, nah, hold up. It might not be what everyone is saying it is, but it's definitely not trash. I'm gonna stick this out. I see why people are frustrated, but is there a way around that? Okay, so I see this pattern. I'm gonna talk to these people, and from there, we were able to solidify a understanding. after all that studying. All right, so 180-day wait period. Yeah. Oh, hold up. LOL. Okay, cool. The game y'all giving is much appreciated. Going to join ASAP, and then say 180-day wait period. Yeah, Amazon does make you wait now, so you can't just jump in. Quick question: so when the load got canceled earlier and y'all received the tonal fee, in order to get that, do you have to be en route in the Relay app? No. If the route is canceled within 2 hours of the scheduled arrival time, then you will get paid for that route, whatever the tonal is. Sometimes it's 175, sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It used to just be straight 175, but it depends on what the load was. Yeah, within 2 hours of pickup, you receive that. Thank you both for sharing. You're welcome. All right, so yeah, so you don't have to
That's
be
a
around,
couple
and you don't
more
have to have
questions.
started the load.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, I don't mean to be rude or anything. I will say we're gonna answer a couple more questions and then
And then wrap it up.
yeah, we're gonna wrap it up because I gotta talk to you beforehand. You gotta get ready to go to bed. You gotta get the kids up for
Yeah, no, I
school.
gotta. I'm glad that load was canceled. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't know why you booked that load.
Because I was hoping it
But
was gonna be canceled.
glad
I
it
just knew
was.
that you was already taking one. Somebody else was probably already picking one up. So chances are, once
But
again,
yeah,
strategy. And if not, I was willing
exactly.
to take it.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't mean to cut it so short,
Yeah.
everybody, man. I truly appreciate all the support. Make sure you chiming in again next week at this time with your questions. You want to get pulled up, make some testimonies, ask some more questions, anything of that nature. Make sure you come back again around this time again next Sunday. We having more videos to upload on Patreon. Make sure you
Thanks,
go over there
thanks.
and
Glad
check
you
that
make it.
out.
Sorry.
Um, oh yeah, no, it's fine. If you want to answer any more comments before we get off
Mm-hmm.
of here, you can do that, baby. But
No, everybody's
yeah,
just saying thank you. We appreciate y'all.
yeah, I appreciate all
Yeah,
y'all.
we
Appreciate
appreciate you all as
everybody's
well.
support. Appreciate
Yep.
everybody's support. We're gonna continue to come with, yeah, with this info for
Yeah.
sure.
And make sure that you have your questions together. And if there's a topic that you want us to talk about next week, just leave it in the comment section. But we're always here to answer as much as we can about Amazon, definitely. But the one thing that I do want to leave off saying, since it was "Are you built for this?" If you feel like you're ready, but you're not exactly sure what you need to do, we keep plugging the Patreon, but it's for a good reason. We do not want people to go out here and make mistakes that could potentially be life, cost you your
Awesome.
life, in addition to a lot of money that could be thrown away. If you are not mentally prepared for all the random things that are going to get thrown at you, then having a support system, having a community, having resources is what makes you successful and keeps you safe out on the road. Because it we've seen so many people that have died in their truck trying to make this work for them, not getting enough sleep, not having safe vehicles, just not hiring the right people, just trying to scale up way too fast. And we want people to have a sustainable business. When we first started this trucking company, we had no idea that this is what life was going to be for us. We had dreams. We had, it was a dream for us as well. But when we realized that there's actually a way to make this work, we want to share it with you all. Now, I know YouTube is used to free information, but if you, like I said, if you wanted to be a doctor, you would expect to pay for the strategy. We're not selling you a dream. We're giving you strategy in order to keep you safe and to keep money in your pocket. And like, we're not the only ones doing it, but we are one of the few that's going to give you real information. So we appreciate all of you coming out here. And we're not sponsored by Amazon, by the way. I don't think I would ever want to accept that. Well, depending on how big the check is. But Amazon does not sponsor us, so we can give you unbiased information about what we're doing. So with all that being said, we love to have a little motivation at the end, but check out the Patreon, join us. Free and paid members do get exclusive information. So join us over there and stay safe and stay motivated, everybody. Anything else to
Yeah.
say?
Oh yeah, and then remember, at the end of the competition, the 5K challenge, there'll be two winners, one from the free member section and one from the paid member section, with a small cash prize as well as a free consultation. So just remember that as well. After this challenge, we will be picking a 2
free and a
winners.
paid.
Yeah, free and a paid member, 2 winners. And then you know, after that, man, I want to kind of keep that up once a month. Pick a paid member for a free consultation once a month and do it like that. So, hey man, we're going up, we're building this community, and see y'all next week. All right, I'm out.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.